in this lecture we discuss the various properties of the air pollutant. So the first one, which is the particulate matter, right? So it refers to the all atmospheric substance that are the not gaseous, right? And they can be suspended droplet, or it is a solid particle, or it is a mixture of any two, right? Then dust, smoke, fume, mist, aerosol, they all are the example of the particular matter, and with the different diameter, right? And I already discussed about that, right? Now the second one, which is the coarse particle, and the size which is greater than 2.5 microns. So the coarse particle like dust, then carbon particles, agricultural activities, then construction site, industrial processes, and the smoke particles, they include in the coarse particles. Now the next one, which is the oxides of the sulfur. So basically the sulfur is a colorless gas with a characteristics sharp and pungent odor, right? Then SO3 is generally emitted along with the sulfur dioxide, and it is SO3 which is rapidly combined with the moisture in the atmosphere to form a sulfuric acid, right? This is a property of the oxides of sulfur. Now the next one, which is the nitrogen oxide. So basically the nitric oxide and the nitrogen dioxide, there are two parts of the oxides of the nitrogen, which is the nitric oxide and the nitrogen dioxide. So they are referred as a nitrogen oxide. It is a nitrogen oxide. It is a colorless, odorless gas, and it produced largely by the fuel combustion. It is a brown pungent gas with an irritating odor. Then NO2, it is produced by the oxidation of the nitric oxide, right? Now the next one, which is the hydrocarbon, it is a volatile organic compound. It can be saturated or unsaturated, or branch or straight chain, or can have a ring structure or other cyclic compounds, right? The hydrocarbon in the air will undergo chemical reaction in the presence of the sunlight, and the nitrogen oxide, it forming a photochemical oxidant, of which the predominant one is ozone, right? The carbon monoxide, it is a odorless, colorless, and it is a tasteless gas. It is a dangerous to asphyxiant, right? Now the next one, which is the lead. Okay, so it can enter the body when the enhanced airborne practice or consume lead that was deposits on the surface, right? At one time, the primary source of airborne lead was from additives in the gasolines, right? Then another major source of the lead is a paint. And today, however, industrial sources such as the metal smelters and the manufacturers of batteries account for about 80% of the lead emissions are there. Okay. Now the next topic, which is the effect of air pollution on the human health. So basically, first we discuss with the carbon monoxide and the nitrogen oxide. It is combined with the hemoglobin to form a carboxyhemoglobin, which reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, right? Then oxides of nitrogen and oxide of sulfur, it causes eye irritation, then throat and nose irritation. They cause a disease like asthma and bronchitis. Then the pollen, it creates an intuitive asthmatic attack. Then secondary pollutant, which produced by the hydrocarbons and the NOx, which result in the formation of photochemical smoke, which cause irritation of eyes, nose, throat, and respiratory disease. The other disease, which is the some aromatic hydrocarbon, it may cause cancer. Then exposure to dust, smoke, so it may include the several respiratory diseases like asthma, then bronchitis, then lung cancer, and etc. Then heavy metals like lead may cause a poisoning effect on the nervous system. They damage the kidney and the wheezing problem. Then nickel particulates in the tobacco, it smoke result in the respiratory damage. Then radioactive substance, it cause a lung disease and affect the kidney, liver, brain, and sometimes may cause a cancer. Then atmospheric dust, it contain a silica and it cause a silicosis. Now the next one, which is the effect of air pollution in the plant and the vegetations. Okay, so the air pollution which affect the plant by entering into the through the stomata, which destroy the chlorophyll and affect the photosynthesis process. Then pollutant also erode waxy coating of the leaves, and it is called a cuticle. The cuticle which prevent the excessive water loss and it damage from the disease. Then pests, drought and the frost, right? So damage to the leaf structure, it causes a dropping of the leaves. Then particulate like a dust, fog, soot deposit on the plant leaves, then it block the stomata and affect the rate of the transpiration, right? So sulfur dioxide in the presence of the oxygen and moisture is converted into the sulfuric acid. So the deposition of this acid on the metal parts of the building roofs, then railway tracks, metal on the bridge and cause a corrosion, right? The sulfuric acid is deposited react with the limestone, then marble and other building material to cause a deterioration and disfigure the building material, right? Then a pollutant like SO2, O3, H2O, which damage the protective coating and the paint of the surface of the house. Then it damage of the textile dyes and textile fiber is caused by the SOx, NOx and the O3. Ozone and pan cause a cracking of the rubber tires and the various form of the electrical insulation. Then deterioration of the leather and the paper due to the sulfuric acid decomposition. Then soiling increase cost of the cleaning short and other wears, then windows, buildings and surfaces, right? So these all are the effect of air pollution on the property and the material. Now, effect of air pollutant on the climate. So due to the man-made activity like industrialization and automobiles, deforestation and etc., which concentration of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere will be the increases, right? So the about 50% of the greenhouse effect may be contributing to carbon dioxide, which result into the increase in temperature of the earth. So this increase in the temperature, it causes a melting of ice cap and the glaciers and the increase in ambient air temperature and will increase the mean sea level, right? The next one, which is the thinning of the ozone layer in the stratosphere by the action of the aerosols will increase the penetration of the harmful ultraviolet rays to the earth, and this will cause blindness, then sunburns, then the inactiveness of the proteins, then RNA and the DNA also. Okay, now the last one, which is the effect of air pollutant on the aesthetic beauty. So the most noticeable effect of the air pollution on the properties of atmosphere is the reduction in visibility, which may lead to safety hazard, right? Then visibility is reduced by the absorption and scattering of light by airborne particles, which is size 0.1 to 1 micrometer size. Then industrial and automobile emission, then sewage and garbage emit a fall odor, which causing a further loss of aesthetic beauty, right? So these all are the effect of air pollutant on the human and plant, vegetation, aesthetic beauty and the climate and etc. Okay, now the last topic, which is the behavior and fate of the air pollutant. Okay, so the first of all, although the large amount of pollutant are discharged annually into the atmosphere, their ambient level have remained very much the same throughout the world, suggests that there are certain pathway of the exchange from the atmosphere to the earth, whereby the pollutant are continuously removed, right? So the possible pathway or the quenching processes of this pollutant may be grouped like a wet precipitation, then dry precipitation or dry deposition, then interaction at this earth's surface, then chemical reaction in the atmosphere, then photochemical smoke. We start with the first wet precipitation. So the process in which the particulate and the gaseous pollutant are rain out or rest out and the washed out by the rain. Okay, so rain out, it is a mechanism in which is effective for whose size is less than 0.1 micrometer, and this particle are captured by the cloud droplet by the diffusion, and the cloud droplet in the turn grow in the size and the precipitate, right? So the washout is effective in the removing particle greater than 2 micrometer, right? Rain out is responsible for less than 0.1 micrometer, where it is a greater than 2 micrometer. The particles smaller than 2 micrometers are not usually collected by the raindrops because they are brushed aside by the diverging aid ahead of the drop, right? The dry deposition, it means that it is a process in which the particulate matter less than 0.1 micrometer which coagulates through the mutual coalescing and it form a larger aggregates which are effectively removed by the gravitational settling, right? And the dry deposition account for about the 20% of the total particulate removal from the atmosphere. Okay, here you can see that the picture of the dry deposition and wet deposition are there and how it will be occur, right? Now, the next one, which is the interaction at Earth's surface. So, the gaseous pollutant, it can be transported to the Earth's surface by the atmospheric turbulence where they interact with the ocean surface, vegetation and upper layer of the soil and they are removed by the absorption of the chemical reaction, right? Then assimilation at the surface which depend upon the major two pollutants which are the sulfur dioxide and the carbon monoxide. The next one, which is the chemical reaction in the atmosphere. So the many of the gaseous pollutant undergo the chemical reaction within the atmosphere and form either a new compounds or the aerosols, right? So the for instance, a large part of the sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere is oxidized to the sulfur trioxide, which quickly combine with the moisture to form a sulfuric acid mist, right? We already discussed that point, right? Okay, and the last one, which is the photochemical smoke. So the smoke comes from the photochemical reaction in the lower atmosphere by the interaction of hydrocarbon and the nitrogen oxide, which is released by the exhaust of the automobiles and the some stationary sources, right? So this interaction which result in the series of the complex reaction which producing a secondary pollutant such as the ozone, aldehydes, ketones and the peroxyethyl nitrate, right? Then this condition for the formation of photochemical smoke are an air stagnation, then abundant sunlight and the high concentration of hydrocarbon and the nitrogen oxide in the atmosphere, right? So this is the all about the today's lecture. I hope you all understood about the today's lecture. Thank you for the watching. Thank you.